It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this invigorating, robust lifestyle show. First of all, I want to thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on their podcast. I am just so very grateful for each one of you. And I am just overly excited today to have with me my monthly returning diva, Beth Lauren Parrish. And you are all in for a really special time today because we are going to chat about tips to be grateful and kind to yourself while building your confidence. Oh, wow. This is going to be awesome. So, Beth, could you please introduce yourself to our audience today?
Of course. Thank you so much, Joyce. My name is Beth Lauren Parrish, and my business is called Inspired Riding. I'm a certified riding instructor, remote coach, and I encourage equestrians to slow down, trust their intuition, and listen to their horses so they can have the best co-creative dances possible.
Oh, that is just beautiful. I love that. I love that co-creative dance as possible. That is just absolutely wonderful. And before we get into our tips and what we're going to chat about today, as you and I were chatting before we came on the show, you are launching a new program in January. Would you like to just tell our listeners just briefly a little bit about what you're launching for them to look forward to?
Yes, it's a really fantastic program, and the best way to learn about it is to join my free workshop, and that workshop is going to be called The 3 Keys to Activate Your Brave button. And I will be allowing that link to show up next week on the 28th of December, so I'll let people have their Christmas time, and then I'll share the link and people can sign up. There'll be 4 different dates in January, and it'll be an hour-long presentation. You'll get to learn some things, and then you'll get to ask me in real time all about the program that's coming up. And it'll be a 12-week program. I'm so excited to share this with my clients and with new people who are interested in becoming brave in the saddle, and that's what it's all about. So just look for that on my website or in my group, Inspired Riders. You can reach out to me, find me on inspiredriding.com, and you'll find more info there. So I'm very excited to present that and have more people join in on the fun and learn how to be more brave for their horses.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds like a wonderful course. Oh, I love it. That sounds like a lot of fun. And they'll be able to find that on inspiredriding.com and then also on your Facebook page, Inspired Riding.
Exactly. And if they join the Facebook group, that one's really fun too. You get all sorts of updates there. And that's just search for Inspired Riders within Facebook and you'll find it.
Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That was some great information for the riders that would like to be inspired and be more brave in the saddle to look into. Oh, beautiful. Well, okay, that leads us into chatting about tips to be grateful and kind to ourselves while building our confidence. So what are some tips that you share in your training and with your clients that you would like to share with our listeners today, Beth?
Well, I just want to start out by saying it's so important to be gentle with yourself because so many horse people feel pressure to do more with their horses. Usually it has to do with keeping up with other people or the pressure they're feeling from other people. Other times it's when they have this larger goal that they'd like to go for, but they feel like they aren't able to achieve it because of either physical, mental, or emotional limitations. Key, of course, is what I love to say is the PBS, is to pause, breathe, and smile. So we can just take a nice deep breath right now into our hearts and breathe in and breathe out. And then just know how amazing it is that you have a horse that you get to play with. And then you know that there are possibilities out there for you if you're willing to go slowly. And what I say is you're going to put pennies in your horse's savings bank by doing a lot of short and sweet sessions that are clear and very potent. And then those will really start to add up. So if all you can do in the beginning is get yourself all tacked up and get yourself to the mounting block and maybe just lean over your horse for one session, that's okay. And you have to know that you will build up your confidence slowly but surely. So maybe the next time, you'll be sending love and appreciation and visualize yourself riding. And maybe next time you'll be able to put your foot in the stirrup and maybe sit on your horse for 30 seconds and then hop off and be okay with that. Because there are ways to go about it quickly and there are ways to go about it slowly. So what I just explained is the slow way, of course, and it's a nicer way to yourself. And then your horse is going to look at you and go, we could do a lot more. But as long as you just say, yes, I understand that, I appreciate that, but this is for me to build up my own confidence. And the more you speak out loud to your horse, the better. I have a client now, and she just broke that barrier. She's been telling her young horse everything that's going on each day with him. And as soon as she tells him, he just relaxes. And it's the coolest thing. And they've been having the most successful rides since then because he knows exactly what's up with her. He doesn't have to wonder because she's being completely congruent inside and out. So that was a long explanation of my first couple tips of just going as slow as possible.
Oh my, but that was absolutely beautiful. I love how you started it with the pause, breathe, and smile, which is hanging in my office that I get to look at every time I'm in my office. I love that. Cool. That is so cool. I love that little saying, PBS. And to go slowly. I mean, don't rush it. And talking to your horses, I love that part because I do that all the time. And when you just said that, it just reminded me of a little incident this morning because I have my barefoot trimmer is coming here shortly. So I tied two of them up in the barn and I explained to them what I was doing. And as I was talking to them, they both started licking and chewing like, okay, we got this covered. We're comfortable. All right. Like they respond so well when you let them know what is happening. I love that you brought that up, and I just have to share that as an example of how well that they understand what you're telling them. So
I love that, and thank you for sharing. It's so important, and it's so simple. Like you just have to say out loud what's going on, and our horses know way more than we think they do.
Yes, definitely. And that is what is so beautiful and magnificent about them because you can relate to them so well and they understand. And yeah, it's beautiful, just beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, that got us started on some tips of starting slowly, and just I like that of putting pennies in. Go short and sweet. That is, and it all adds up. It all adds up to big accomplishments. So I always say, recognize those small baby steps. Oh. Yeah, go ahead, Beth.
Transfer over to is to celebrate all the small accomplishments. So a funny thing happens when you start to, go through this process and you're putting all these pennies in your pony savings bank and what happens is you actually start to shift your identity of who you are. So say you have a goal in mind and then all of a sudden you've achieved it and you look back and you actually don't identify with the person before that goal. So it's really important to remember that as you shift into this new identity, as you keep going further and further and achieving your goals, you have to acknowledge how far you've come. So a good habit to get into is maybe at the end of the month, look back at where you were at the beginning of the month and remind yourself, hey, I've done this much stuff. This is really awesome. And create your own little ritual of celebrating yourself however you want. So I think that's one really cool way to just kind of remind yourself because you aren't going to recognize yourself because it just becomes so natural as you shift into your new way of being. And people forget that.
Yes. Oh, I agree. And also, I'm going to add to that, look at how much you have grown with your horse by spending that time with them and making that connection with them. And I see it so much because they grow right along with you. I mean, they're building, if it's a horse that maybe you have just received or you haven't spent a lot of time with them, the horse that's just come into your family, then building confidence in each other and take a step back and look where you both started from and see the small accomplishments you've both made is what I wanted to add to that little tip.
Oh, definitely. And it's really cool, especially as you build with them, how they start to look at you differently. Like, oh, you're still following through with everything you said. And then you get that sense that they're proud of you as well. It's really an amazing feeling.
Yes. Oh, I agree 100%. It tugs at your heart is what it does. It totally touches your heart when you get that feeling that you two are both connected and you're understanding each other. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, just the other day I was out with Pepper, and I just wait for him now when I get my stuff out there, and then he sees me, and then he comes to the arena and says, yep, I'm ready, but then he'll tell me exactly what he needs. So the second key is going slowly and listening to what you need, of course, but then you have to tune in and ask your horse what they need. So he'll also say, okay, I want to play a little bit. And I'm not sure if you've seen any of my videos recently, but he and I have this game now where I run in the arena and he runs alongside me and he'll do some bucking and rearing and spinning, but he'll always be mindful of me. It's the cutest thing. And so we run and we play, and then he follows me to the tack-up area, and he's all relaxed and like, okay, now I'm ready for you to ride me. To have that kind of relationship is just, I just keep pinching myself. It's just so much fun. And it's like my inner 11-year-old pops out in this 43-year-old body, and I don't know how that happens, but it's really cool.
Oh, Beth, that is just beautiful. That is a beautiful story, how you two have that relationship. Oh, my goodness. And I'm just on your website as we are talking, and I just see it because Pepper, the picture of your big smile and Pepper's and mouth and nose right on your shoulder, you can just see the love glowing from each one of you for each other. You're connected soul to soul, heart to heart is what it looks like, and it sounds like, and I know you two are. That is beautiful.
Definitely. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I have my journal and, of course, the app to remind me, how far we've come. Like, I'll look back and I'll type in what I did that day, and then I could always look back and see, like, what he suggested, how many rides we've done. And it's a huge accomplishment. Like, right now, let's see, I think the next ride I do will be 197 total since I met him. And just documenting how many rides you've done or how many sessions just done playing with them is a really cool way to acknowledge, how far you've come and celebrate all the small wins. Like, anytime your horse wants to hang out with you, that's a win in my book, that you're not dragging them over. And he's since told me, like, if he's in the backwoods and does not come to see me, that's a good indication he's just not in the mood to hang out with me. And I have to respect that. So the days where I try to convince him, quote unquote, it's not a really great ride. He just kind of like dials it in like an actor who's tired, So I just have to know if he runs up to me, that's how I know he's definitely ready. So being able to acknowledge that and really appreciate every moment with them is huge. So getting yourself into appreciation mode is just a beautiful way to be gentle with yourself, so you're not so hard on yourself. A lot of people are like, oh, I wish I was already at this spot. People are so used to things happening instantly, especially with all the things with their electronics. But horses are not that way. You have to just take your time and be willing to, go slow and do what's best for you and your horse and check in with your intuition. The other thing I always recommend when you're going slowly to help you feel like you're being gentle with yourself is to just keep a journal. You can write things, before and after your session, or just every time you wake up, you can ask your inner guidance what you need to focus on. Or in the evening, you can write down what you appreciate or what you'd like to shift, and create a little bit of visualization for the next day. So you can start to literally segment and tend your next day. So you're literally creating your reality that way. And that's a beautiful way to, for self-care in general. Because then you're just taking life by the unicorn horn and not just like allowing things to happen to you. Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful. I love the small wins. And horses are truly not like a computer. I mean, they have their own soul, their own heart, their own thinking. And like you said, when Pepper's back in the woods and this isn't his day, he wants to just be a horse and hang out with his friends. And that you see that and respect it and can tell the difference in the ride. To me, that's another accomplishment, and people need to take that as not that my horse doesn't want to be with me today, but realize that, hey, maybe he knows something that I don't, and today isn't the day for us to be together. And respect that and go, okay, I've made another small win by being able to communicate with him like that. So, yes, I think that is absolutely a beautiful one, because that horses are that way. I know sometimes I'll go out to mine, and sometimes they'll come right up there, and the next time they're like, no, not now, not in the mood. And I'm like, okay, that's fine too, no problem. And just respecting each other.
For that. And it just creates such a better bond,
Yes.
Because I know there are people who get a little upset about that, especially if they're like paying for board and they show up for a ride, excuse me, and they're just expecting the horse to be ready. And that was something I wrote about recently. I used to have this thing, and I think it was just ingrained in me from being a kid, that, the horse gets to be a horse for 23 hours, and then that hour I'm with them, they should be able to give me what I want. But that's really not very fair. They're still a living being. They have to actually, be in consent with what you're suggesting. So that's something I've given up now. And it's a big deal, because it was something I even said most recently in lessons, and now I'm like, you know what? It's not fair. If the horse needs to chill out, if they need them to have a massage, if they want to just go be a horse, we have to allow for that. So I think it's a totally different way of thinking for the mainstream horse world, but it would be really cool if more people adopted it. So.
Oh, I agree. I totally hear you. Yeah, I think it'd be so much more of a beautiful companionship you can have with that horse and connect with them heart to heart when you respect each other like that, rather than, oh, you're my horse, you're going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to do it now. And no, I'm right along there with you, Beth. I love that. And oh, what a beautiful world it would be if more people looked at their horses that way. You are bringing so much into the horse world for people that are wanting to connect with their horses like that, to help give them the tips to see the little accomplishments like that and be happy for them, rather than to maybe look down on themselves and say, well, I'm not the person I should be to be doing this. Rather, look at it as a win that you have accomplished that for it. So, yes, I commend you very much, Beth, for bringing all that out to your clients and to our listeners about the little things like that to look forward to with the horses. That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
you are so
time.
very welcome.
It's important to make these in our lives and just keep evolving.
And even times, years ago I was at a barrel clinic, and it just kind of reminds me of the instructors. She was a barrel racer, and her husband always was with her. And he said one time she had the worst run she had ever had in her life. But he said, I wasn't going to go into that part of it. He said she came out of the arena, and I go, well, you didn't fall off your horse, so that was a really good thing. So he said, look at the positives rather than the negatives, and it makes it so much easier to work on the things that you need to work on when you look at look at the positive side rather than always going to the negative side, and be grateful for, like he said, be grateful that you didn't fall off your horse. And yeah, be grateful for that.
Exactly. And grateful they'd let us ride them. And it's amazing that they do that. I'm still in awe every day, even though I've been riding now 35 years. Yeah. Every day I never take it for granted. It's just the coolest thing. But, so another thing to do to make sure you're being gentle with yourself is, I mentioned it in the beginning, is when other people are putting pressure on you. And that'll happen with friends, with other instructors, or just, putting your own pressure on yourself by watching other people and being a little bit jealous, because that happens. So the key is to remember that you're on your own path. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Incredibles, where there's this character named Edna Mode, and she would say to the superheroes, you cannot have capes. Capes are not good. They're just destined for failure. You're going to get caught up in them. So she would say, no capes, right? So I would say instead, no leaks, no energetic leaks. So I would see Edna Mode pop up in my mind, and I would immediately go, there are no leaks here. I'm going to stay on my path. I'm putting on my horse blinders, and I'm just going to keep doing my thing and not worry about what anyone else says. So if you ever need a funny image about, keeping on your path, just say no leaks and imagine Edna Mode yelling at you. Those are my little tips. And then the book that I always recommend is The 4 Agreements. And that one is wonderful to help remind you that no matter what anyone says to you, it just has to do with their own perspective, not to take things personally. So the key is just to stay on your path and speak up if something doesn't feel right, because you have to do what feels right for you and your horse.
Yes. That is beautiful too, because don't compare yourself. I always say, don't compare yourself to where someone else is, or maybe where someone else's horse is. You are on your own journey, and make your journey as beautiful as you can, because you don't know what that other person may have gone through to get to that place in their journey. So I always say, don't compare yourself to others. And I think in women, I believe a lot of us women have, that is maybe something some of us struggle with, that we go, well, why aren't we doing it as good as they are? Why aren't we like this? And it's not about that, because to me, it's about you're on your own journey. The universe has chosen you. With the universe, you've chosen this journey, and you're on it. So make it the best, and enjoy each step of it, and enjoy the times where maybe there was some difficulty, but then look at what you learned through that challenge. And wow, when you look at it that way and go, wow, I did make progress, and there was positives coming out of that too. So those are some things too that like you said, I've heard a lot about that 4 Agreements book, and I've heard that is really a good book. I have not taken the time to read it myself, but it is one of them on my bucket list to do.
Good. Yeah, I read it so long ago. I will need to get it again. It used to be my go-to whenever we'd be at a bookstore. We'd get extra copies and give them away. So I don't believe I have one right now, but it would be good to get it again. Yep.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is neat. Well, that is really a lot of great tips that you have brought to the table today for our listeners to use, to not be so hard on yourself, and just go slow. I love the PBS, pause, breathe, and smile.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad that one just popped in. It's funny because, growing up as a child watching Sesame Street, PBS was a big deal in our house, the public broadcasting system. So I just thought it was so funny that I came up with a new acronym for it. So,
that is. And it fits so well. It just fits beautifully to what you are doing, because it's just pause and just step back sometimes a moment and take a breath and then smile, and you'll be amazed how it changes the world when you do that. I have found that out many, many times. Now, when you're working with clients, do a lot of times you find that you'll say, just take a breath, pause, breathe, and smile? Is that one of them that you use a lot in some of your classes?
I do. I mostly will, because we're moving, so I usually will have them remember to breathe and breathe out tension. Like, that's one of the biggest things when they're riding along. I can tell when they stop breathing. I can tell, of course, during a live lesson when I'm with them, but I can also tell remotely on the computer. I was like, oh, you're not breathing. And they're like, how do you? I'm like, I just know. I've been doing this long enough. I can see it. I can feel it. I can feel it energetically. And your horse is doing some movements that look a little bit more tense. So as soon as they breathe, then the flow happens again. It's amazing to watch. And then, of course, I'll have them halt and have that pause and breathe and appreciate. And it's amazing how they all love it, the horses and the riders. And it gives them this new wave of appreciation just to be able to progress with their horse or even just sit on them. I've had lessons where I'll just encourage them to get on with the mounting block, and they might not be ready. And we might have 3 or 4 lessons where they'll just stand at the mounting block and talk to me. And it almost becomes a therapy session, but we just talk about their horses and all the things that they want to accomplish. And I tell them, I'm here to hold space for you. So whenever you're ready to get on, there's no pressure. I'm not going to, shame you for not getting on today. It is what it is. And I'll say, okay, let's aim for next month where you get on. And then sure enough, it happens sooner because I've given them that space. It's just like when you load a horse on a trailer or a float and you say, I have all day for you. And then they'll say, okay, and then they'll get on within 10 minutes. But if you say, I've got to get you on within this next 10 minutes, then they're going to take all day. So, yeah.
Oh, how true.
Give them as much time, Yeah.
Just take your time and breathe out stress. How true that is. Yes. Breathe in positive and gratefulness and breathe out stress.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big one. Because we
Yes,
hold tension by default, so it's so good to just let it out. And I like letting it out by doing a horse sigh. And then my horse will do it too, because we'll just go like that together. Pepper will remind me, and then I'll do it, and he'll do it, and we'll just do it back and forth. It's really cute.
Oh, that's awesome. How awesome. Well, Beth, I knew this time would go so fast because this was such a great, great topic to talk about. So what we've gone over so many tips. What would be one final tip you would like to leave with our listeners today?
I think if they want to check out the mounting block ritual that you can find on my free course, if you go to inspiredriding.com and go all the way to the bottom, you'll see the free mini course. That mounting block ritual will be a beautiful way to help set you up, to remind you to slow down and to appreciate your horse and to visualize your ride. So if they want to do that, that would be great. And then if they want to sign up for the 3 keys to activate the Brave button, that will be available next week. And those are my top tips to help you, because it's going to launch you into your best new year. Very excited for you guys.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh, Beth, I loved it. Those were great tips. Thank you so much for being on my Robust Lifestyle show again. I always look forward to each month when we get to chat and you get to share some more tips and tools to leave with our listeners. Thank you so much, Beth. That was awesome.
You're welcome. I appreciate you, Joyce. You're wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Same back to you, girl.
I hope you have a fantastic holiday season, and I look forward to chatting with you next year.
Oh, that sounds great. That's what I was going to say. I wish you a beautiful holiday season and a very happy new year, and same to all of our listeners. And we will definitely chat again in January, and they should be excited to be looking forward to what we'll be chatting about then. It will be fun. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this absolutely amazing interview with an incredible diva, Beth Lauren Parrish. And be sure and tune in the new year in January on the third Monday at 10 o'clock Central Time, where Beth will be sharing more information and more tips and tools for you to use with your horse. And be sure to share this show with all your family and friends. Check out all the hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. Have a magical day. Remember, be kind to all and be kind to yourself. Remember to pause, breathe, and smile, and do it with your horse also. Give your animals all a great big hug and share all your love with them. Until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.